I don't really have anything.
I think so, yeah. So go down to the word tax. And there's another guy that has his work vehicle. And the reason why they don't have it, they're because they know he was this. So they park.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they'll be on the Zoom.
They'll be honest. Okay. All right, we're ready to get this meeting started. It's Thursday, December 16th, 6:02 p.m. And myself and Will are present. What else do we have as far as the board?
Barbara?
No.
Bird's on there. TJ and Richard are on there.
We have Barb, Johanna, Bert, anyone there? Isaac?
I don't see Japan on here yet. Or
Let's give him another minute.
So they're going to here and home.
All right, Johanna will be joining shortly. She's stuck at Verizon at the moment. We're still missing one person, correct, for one?
Isaac and I didn't think he was going to show up. So
But I mean, to continue the meeting, we're short.
we need one thing.
All right, folks, we don't have a quorum yet from the board present, so we're gonna give it another 5 minutes or so. I know Johanna's planning on jumping in. She's stuck in the store at the moment, but we'll be on shortly.
Bert's not able to.
Okay, it's just about the quorum.
Hey there, Tommy. I'm on here, but I only have until 7 o'clock.
Okay,
So
Barb.
just-
Truthfully, it shouldn't be a very long meeting. But,
I saw that.
I'm hoping Johanna can hop in here shortly and we could get started, or
Did she say when she could?
problem is her cell phone's bad, so she's at Verizon getting it replaced right now. So, I don't know. Isaac's not answering, Bert said he's not able to attend. Maybe Ryan, I'm sure he's busy.
I think he said that he had something to do, and he might be able to get in.
Oh, so you can't even get hold of Johanna because of the phone.
I know, she just texted me though, she says I think she's logging in now. You didn't see her pop up at all on the list then?
And that includes, one second.
It's December.
Yeah, I figured it's always 7 days before, so, oh wait.
Yeah.
She is here, okay. So Joanna has just joined us, we now have a quorum. You have her unmuted.
2096.
Yep.
Perfect, okay, approval of prior minutes. Anyone here not have a chance to look over, have any questions on the minutes? Okay, I put in a motion to approve the prior minutes of last month. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries for prior minute approval. We do have them unmuted. Okay. Do we have any officer reports? I don't have anything to offer up at this moment. Community manager reports?
Okey dokey, ready? All right, so I emailed the board my report. At the end of the report, you'll see violation report, and you'll see work orders completed and in process. Should get a whole report on that. Delinquency for the month of November is 19,781. I have updated information on the financials in that section. I don't need to go through all of that, it's details. Your separate reserve accounts were set up in the month of November. However, the funds, by the time that we set up the reserve accounts, The funds were moved in December, so your December financials will be reflective of all those. You'll be able to see those balances. Actions taken from the November meeting, 2022 budgets were submitted. Mail out will happen in the next few days. All the statements will be presented to everybody showing their quarterly statement, and then if they have a monthly, that'll be added on to that. The binding committee charter was posted to Town Square and Facebook on November 22nd. Community yard sale dates. In regards to that, we need to work, our office needs to work with Johanna and whomever to try to get some better signage than we already have. The appeals that were done, at last month's meeting, the homeowners were notified in writing, and I made sure that the open on C3. Rules and regulations for the helium balloons was updated and posted to Town Square. Sandpiper Crest, the driveway pavers. We had talked about the fact that I had sent notices when they built the townhomes, the driveways were paved, or installed with pavers, but the aprons were not. And so we sent violation letters to them. We've been working with your attorney on that because they did not respond, they did not comply. An offer was made to Park Square. A couple different things are happening at the same time. So what we're offering is to change the charter, which will require a membership vote, and we would do an amendment and a vote that would be mailed out. If the membership votes in favor to change the wording to allow for aprons not to match the driveways when paved or stained.
Be a bit more specific, but
Say again?
it's going to be a bit more specific.
Yeah, and I'm trying to save on words, but if that passes, then the townhome driveways stay as is. If the amendment does not pass, then the violation exists, and we will move forward accordingly legally against Park Square to comply, and there may be a class action suit involved in that. So there'll be more information. Did you want to elaborate on that?
Just a little bit.
I was trying to save some details. So.
No, we've been dealing with this up to the past hour, to be honest with everyone. Yeah, we're actually in a good spot right now. So Park Square is, willing to pay into the tune of $40,000 to get this issue corrected, provided we can pass the amendment via membership, which again brings this very important into this February 24th election, because we're probably going to have that on the ballot to get approved in the same limited. So it's important that we get as many voters out for that, to answer that question so we can get that passed. The fight was not letting Park Square off the hook. So if the event that this doesn't make it and doesn't pass through membership vote, we still have avenues to go after Park Square to get this corrected properly, along with the homeowners that are affected in Park Square, which will most likely result in a class action lawsuit.
Do I understand that you're stating that if it passes, they won't need to pay the correction?
No, if it passes, they're gonna pay for all the money it costs to make the correction, which is in the tune of $40,000.
So, but it doesn't pass, it stays as is.
It stays as is, and we continue.
And that's going to be up to the membership to decide that if the rule changes.
Because the odds
So,
of passing is pretty strong, so.
Maybe.
I mean, we can get in the corners for some of these things.
well, we also have more information on that throughout this meeting that will eliminate that, but yeah. Moving on, pressure washing, the entry gate and the guest entry columns at Sagewood are going to, and the retaining walls located at the properties of the 36 homes within the community are going to be pressure washed on January 10th. This is going to be a regular thing with those retaining walls when you start maintaining them. Landscaping and irrigation, Sagewood, upon a recent inspection, Down to Earth found common areas not receiving water and sod drying out. They found controller K needing the clock replaced. Cost to replace was $14.92, which is in my spending authority. and will be completed prior to Christmas. However, in the well that works that area, we moved to that situation. Ballinger informed me that there were issues with this well not operating properly. This well provides water to 10% of the CDD property and 90% to the Sagewood Common Grounds. As a result of this issue, the common grounds in the area are turning brown due to lack of water. Yesterday, they tried to turn that on, and they heard a noise inside the control panel, and the entire thing shut down. We had a well drilling company come out that CDD or Rosetta have used for quite a while, and they submitted the quote that I did send to the board. So last I checked, I had 3 of you that agreed to that, and just let me know by tomorrow. That would be a Sagewood reserve expense that we could get that done. And it's gonna be a 90% expense to Sagewood because of that 90-10 split on the coverage. Sagewood and Villas 2022 sod project, for those owners living in the villas and Sagewood, reporting issues to us with their sod. We're going to create a work order, submit to the contractor. The contractor is going to see if fertilization or some other item can help bring that sod back. If it doesn't, that home is going to be added to that replacement list. And then in April, I'm going to walk all the homes in Sagewood and all the villas with the contractor. We're going to get a total square footage and a cost, put that into that spreadsheet that I created this past year, and then it'll be sent to the board in May to vote on, and then an install in June as we approach the rainy season. The landscape contracts for Sunrise have been signed and uploaded to Town Square. Now we go on to the town homes. The issues. Irrigation and landscape issues, I brought up previously that due to construction, there have been some damage done to landscape and the irrigation. Steadfast and Sunrise met this week and compiled the items that will need to be repaired upon transition and when Sunrise gets moving. They're going to get with me probably by next week to let me know what those are. In addition to that, I've done an inspection of the construction area. They do consistently take their material, store it on finished landscape. They damage trees. There's a tree that's just completely broken. And I've asked them twice already, given them a time frame to have that material moved to unfinished areas. In addition, they're not cleaning up their trash. So they did not meet that deadline of last Friday. I went and inspected this week, gave them until tomorrow. Meanwhile, instead of waiting for them to pick up the trash, I had Steadfast do that today, and they picked up 6 bags of 100% construction debris. If they don't move that material, the next step that I'm going to suggest to the board is, once again, take this to your attorney, unfortunately. The CDD park benches, it was discussed at their last meeting that the park benches near the playgrounds and basketball court will be refurbished and repaired. This was announced on Town Square. Preservation area, there will be some maintenance activities in the preservation area adjacent to the community in the near future, including heavy machinery that may cause noise, and they'll keep me abreast to that time frame and scheduling. Trash can issues, they weren't being cleaned up. Trash was removed, but trash was on the ground, so I reported that to them. They took care of that. Sagewood CDD retention pond, there's a retention pond over there that needs to be maintained. It was wet, I knew that was a problem. They're gonna see if it is dried out so they can mow it. It's pretty overgrown. The roundabout corner on Circa Fish Hawk Boulevard and Village, damaged landscape. I reported that to the manager of the CDD in Brightview. Brightview came back and told me that they would have the crew clean it up and send a proposal to the CDD to replace that. Just to let everybody know, this is not in my report, but what does everybody call them, you guys? Stump Santa or Santa Stump? Stumpy. They did talk about at their last meeting that they would be removing that and replacing it with a tree. So hopefully after the holidays, because it's nicely decorated. I think that's cute. The island in front of the entrance to Sagewood, I reported 2 items to CDD manager on December 6th. That was a street, the one-way, post was broken, just sticking out of the island, and also the pavers on the west side were all broken and laying in the street and in the roundabouts. I did inspect that today. They did remove the post, put a better sign up. All they did for the pavers or the bricks is that they put them in a pile, and that was it. So I brought that to the CUD manager's attention. That's for when they were gonna do that, take care of that. No updates on the lake at all, so I encourage everybody to attend their meetings, or email the manager and the board for the CUD. And that's it. Their meetings are always the first Thursday of every month at 10 a.m. here in the Lake House. They do not do Zoom meetings, though.
Can we make sure can we put a post up tomorrow about that? Give me the phone number and email address.
I have all that.
I know, I just want to do a refresher on the page. Hey, please complain about bricks, please complain about.
Exactly. I mean, I think there needs to be more communication on that end, especially the lake. There are a lot of people ask us, and we want to be able to have answers, and we don't.
But we get the pressure.
Yeah. So that ends my report.
Thank you. Committee reports. I'm sorry? Thank you. Any others? Johanna, do you have anything?
Because we did.
I can't mute. I'm in mute. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Santa event went great. We have next meeting on, and I think it's the 18th. So everything went good. Everyone's happy. I like Santa, so not much more to report than that. You know, we're pretty much at the end for social activities for this year. I don't have the finances in front of me, but I think it was, I dropped off the receipts, so maybe Heather can speak to that. But yeah, everything went great, and we're looking forward to the next planning for next year at I believe it's on the 18th in January. So that's pretty much it for me.
Perfect. Yeah, and I could add to that, the food truck rally went really well. We could have had a bigger turnout. We could have had way worse. At the end of the day, it ended up costing the HOA $200 to have the whole rally, which is not bad at all for the first time in ever. I do plan on doing the event again. We did have Mark Rosenthal come out and was able to DJ with us. I think we're going to combine food truck event and movie night, probably sometime in February, tentatively. Nail that down more in January. But it was a great event, and I think it's going to get bigger. We had a lot of people that didn't show, didn't know what was happening. We need to get some signage out there. And
I was going to suggest, can we advertise it more? Get more information out there?
It's already in the works. I'm already looking at signage companies and trying to figure out how we're going to get both yard signs up front by the lake house, maybe a big banner made up by Publix. Yes, without a doubt. That's why I'm really happy with the turnout as well.
Yeah, because the information that went out was very slim. I mean, it would even have been nice to have an idea of what the menus were.
All the menus were out. They were all voted on. They were all done on both Facebook pages and in Town Square. I literally, as far as my reach goes, as far as advertisement, it was there and at full use. But yes, we're hoping to get more and better. So, I think that's it for committee reports. We will move on to new business. The new business for people who are attending via Zoom, you are currently muted. Jennifer is our Zoom moderator and running the Zoom meeting. Please type any questions you have to her. She will answer or get you unmuted at the appropriate time if there is a motion that you would like to speak to. Moving on, our first action item is violation fining policy. I'm making a motion to discuss and approve a new violation fining policy. Can I get a second? Second. Okay, so We've been working with getting a fining committee together for the sole purpose that we could actually have a fining policy attached to a violation policy. I'm hoping everyone kind of had the opportunity to go over this and look at it. Joanne and Barb, do you guys have any questions on this? This is kind of a detailed conversation here that we need to, it's not really a yay or nay on this one. Because right now we have, if you read it, we have a first notice of violation going out with picture of the violation to the owner. They're going to have X amount of days to comply. And the reason it's X amount is because depending on the violation that's being had, some of them are
There's some 5,
10, 15
30,
days.
depending on your ARC.
Second violation, management expects at the end of that deadline. And then they will send a 14-day notice to the owner that the board will vote in a duly called meeting whether or not we want to levy a fine against the homeowner at $100 per day per violation, maximum up to $1,000 as it is in our chart. And the reason I've kind of proposed it that way was so that way I see it, by the time the second notice goes out and gets checked,
Go over there and read my pen.
we're then going to have a board meeting. At our board meeting, we're going to look at the violation. We're going to see it. We're going to see it's been out for over 10 days, over 14 days. It's still problematic. It's still at large. So we will be able to levy a $1,000 fine at that point. It's the max that we have and that we are able to do. Once we do that, it then goes over to the fining committee. Fining committee then fine on the homeowner. We just levied that we want it to be fine. The fining committee has to see that it's just. The letter needs to go out to the homeowner, giving them the right to sit in front of the fining committee and say their piece. Once that's done, management will go out and inspect that it is still an issue, and then it will be given over to the attorney, with the attorney knowing that he currently has a $1,000 spending cap on that particular fine, before having to notify management, notifying the board, and the board rediscussing and reevaluating the fine. I hope this makes sense.
So the fine is actually being levied towards the cost of the collection.
I'm sorry? Sorry, but yes, the idea is exactly that, that the fine is levied that way. I don't want to be hitting up $100, $200 fines. I want to be waiting the full date amount for the statute, 10 days, being able to assess a $1,000 fine, because if it has to go to the attorney, then it's going to cost us money. At least there's a $1,000 fine levied on that account. That's where we were losing money as of last year. And Barb, Joanne, and anything?
No, that sounds good.
No, I agree with it as well. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear me, but I agree with what, so, and no issue for me.
Okay, motion to approve the new violation and fining policy?
We'll do all in favor.
All in favor? Aye.
No discussion. We've already done this session. No opposed?
Any opposed? Motion carries. Yes, sir.
Just a comment, one of the things I did find in some of the research you did in Florida is that parking is always tough, right, and the attorney is difficult. It may be prudent to change that at some point, to just, I mean, we paid $100 for a small claims judgment, because then you can actually cash it back without the attorney involved.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
And I mean, it's guaranteed what you're doing, so that's it.
Okay, I have a feeling this might change at some point in time, anyhow, but this is at least a start to something we didn't have in place in the first place.
Just a comment, because it's really about a lot of people don't understand that.
Right. Okay, motion here is to elect a committee chairman. I'm making a motion to approve Sean Rowland as the election committee chairman.
Second.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay, and we need any discussion here?
Everyone, just take my audio. Just kidding.
Hey, Tommy, can you give us the ability to unmute ourselves? Because if we want to say yay or nay, and I mute myself so you don't hear my family talking, I can't unmute myself on my phone.
Barb, I can. The problem is when we do that, everyone gets the same opportunity.
Well, okay.
I keep trying to unmute as quick as I can for her, sorry.
I can, yeah, we can.
It's no problem, whatever. That's the reason I'm not saying anything is because I can't unless you allow me to.
Well, we'll allow everyone to unmute themselves now. If it becomes a problem, we'll mute you. Okay, we'll second that motion. All those in favor of Sean Rowland being the election committee chairman? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, motion being made to approve the proposed charter for the election committee.
Second. I'm just reading as I'm going, I'm sorry. I'm reading as
In the room, I mean.
I'm reading, I'm sorry. I'm reading.
Yes, anyone have any questions on the election committee charter? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have approval for a reserve study for 2022. I'm making a motion to hire one of our two options for our 2022 reserve study. Okay, so where we are with that is we have the reserve advisors, which we now got an updated quote from, which is $10,500 to provide reserves for the entire community and all the neighborhoods within. We have Florida Reserve Study was our other option at $8,800, which is right at our budget for the same tasks. Does anyone have a preference? Five were the first company we met with. I believe his name was Matt.
Yeah. And I did provide it for safe credentials.
Yep. The second offering on the table is Florida Reserve Advisors at $8,800. I believe they were the last person we met via Zoom. I don't know if I have a preference personally, one way or the other. I think Reserve Advisors for $10,500 were slightly more polished, give a lot more options as far as some cloud-based services. I think Florida Reserve Study also came in well. I'm not sure it's worth the extra expenditure going with Reserve Advisors just because they were a little more polished. At the end of the day, we need an Excel spreadsheet with numbers, not really more or less to get this job done. Plus, it's in our budget. Standing budget.
So is your motion to hire Florida Reserve?
My motion's going to be to hire Florida Reserve Study.
Okay.
I'll open up to the floor. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns on that? I have confidence. Okay, all those in favor of hiring Florida Reserve Study?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next motion is for a new collections attorney. I'm making a motion to hire Mankin Law Group as our new collections attorney. Yeah, this is probably part of a bigger picture with attorneys, but Kelly's Kelly. I won't say he's my favorite, but he's doing a lot of work for us and we're paying him a lot of money. But the way he deals with collections right now is he bills us first, we pay him straight out. When he collects, he reimburses us, if he collects. He has no incentive in my book to actually collect. Mankin Law Group, we will never see a bill from. They collect, we get paid. They don't, we don't. It seems like a
I think
no-brainer.
that's a huge improvement.
I've worked with Macon Law Group, they're very successful at what they do, and literally never receive a bill, and they collect the money.
If you see in their proposal they gave us in the write-up, and it just looks great, and it makes sense. They gotta be hungry. If they're not collecting, they're not making any money, so. Any comments from the floor?
Collection fee,
I want to know what their process is.
I have it all documented in here.
Any other collection attorney, because they follow the statutes. The only difference is that they don't send a bill to the association while they're working on the case to get reimbursed for their work. They take all of that money and they collect it just from the homeowner. Whereas what's happening right now is that he sends a bill, maybe I don't know if and how long it takes them to work on it. The association pays those legal costs, and then when the attorney collects the money, then that money gets reimbursed to the association. So it's the association that's waiting to get reimbursed rather than the attorneys.
Okay. I understand that. I'd like to know this, so how they go about collecting, how are they willing to take their process?
I want her to
If
stop
9
here.
months goes by, are they willing to take?
They have it right in here, they
Several
do a claim of lien.
Yeah,
They say I have
so
a
several
claim.
different things happen depending on the situation, not everybody's the same. So you could have somebody that files bankruptcy, once they file bankruptcy, you're on hold, you can't do anything. So that's one situation. Then you have somebody that files, hardship, that could be a different process. If it's a clean, I'm not paying, then it's gonna follow statute, it's gonna follow law. You're gonna file the claim of lien, and then eventually, in that timeframe that the law gives, then it's gonna go into courthouse steps and it's gonna be auctioned off. Now, if nobody offers the money and pays for it, then it goes back to the lien holder, which is the association. And then the association owns that. I haven't had that happen very often. Huh?
Is that a lien for how long?
No, it's not, it's gonna follow a process with, same with everybody, unless that person has a legal hardship that they can file against, like a bankruptcy, for instance. Then that's gonna change that path, and we gotta file a bankruptcy law at that point. So there's different processes.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, wouldn't it just be easier to take the fee and go?
That's not filing a small, filing a lien. That's just doing a small claims, like a judgment. That's different. Problem is that you got a hold on their house. If you just go to do small claims, they're not gonna care, it's not gonna affect them. They're already behind in this area, maybe they're behind on their credit cards, they really don't care. But you take their house away from them, $2,000. I understand that, I've done this for many years, I know that process. But with Mankin, the difference is that they're not getting the money from the association, they're getting paid first. I'm sorry, the process is now is that the attorney gets paid first, Mankin doesn't do that.
that process sounds good.
They collect and you don't get a bill.
So the fee for the,
To the homeowners.
I can make sure you get a copy of this. They have a full breakdown of everything.
no, I understand, I just want to make sure that the fee was added in addition to.
It is in addition to.
It's always included to the homeowner, yeah, same as your current attorney.
The only other thing that I noticed in here was they are obviously entitled to us and change the amount. that's more surveyor fees. I don't know. Yeah.
If you decide to approve this, before you actually tell the attorney that they're hired, would it not have a, there's outside, I mean, there might be a member of the organization, Kathy's, those contracts. She would find probably any little small thing, bring it to your attention, would that be prudent?
We could. Not against it, yeah. Want to view the contract then? Sure. But to give you, here's a collection process, quick overview of their collection process breakdown. Owner becomes delinquent. Management sends 30-day late notice required by statute. 45-day intent to lien notice is sent or by Mankin Law Group. After 45 days, Mankin Law will file a claim on a claim of lien. Deed, title, search, sends owner internal demand letter along with copy of claim of lien, and then it could go one of three ways from there. Depending on how it goes from there is where they take it from there. But they do have a pretty good breakdown, and they have a whole example of, you know, a previous company that they dealt with, so it's fairly straightforward.
Sounds like
Okay, all those in favor of hiring Mankin in lieu of Kelly for collections policies?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carries. Dean. Okay, electronic election and voting. I'm making a motion to use electionrunner.com for our 2022 election membership voting requirements.
And that is.
Can you second it? I'm going to second it. Okay, so I did a lot of research. I've been playing around with a lot of these different companies that offer online election processing for HOAs and all types of deals. I narrowed in on this one for a lot of different reasons: functionality, price, and it really just fits our needs very nicely. Here's what it is. Cost comes down to, for 1,242 homes, we could run an election. We could build it any which way we want, ballot and proxy all in one. Cost is about $150 to $15 per run, which is per run. Okay, which is free if you ask me. Okay, so the great thing is we could do this several times a year if we have to. If we have to do it for, you know, we were talking about Park Square. If we have to do it to run a membership vote for Park Square, we can run it $115. It doesn't cost us an arm and a leg to get this done. I have a feeling that this is going to really drive our voters up. How many ballots we're actually going to receive and how many proxies we're actually going to receive. We've done several test versions of this so far, and basically we have, I forgot the number, but I think we have about 1,075 registered emails. You get the email, you click the link, you don't even need to sign in. It's you, proxy, ballot, you're done in 35 seconds. Answered our 3-4 questions, you filled out your ballot at the other end. It's still a secret ballot. We have no clue who filled out what. We just know that person A did fill out a proxy and a ballot. At 6 p.m., we get the results of that proxy and ballot. We're also not taking away paper voting at this time. It will be in addition to it.
statutes. The secret ballots has to be stripped out of its identity, but it also has to be auditable for someone to go back and check them if they need to be. In addition, there has to be a electronic ballot to make sure that they are allowed to do electronic voting. Yes. So in an option, they can also opt out after they've opted in. Is all that available in this particular product?
Well, there is no opt-out. or opt in. But we are aware of that. We've been kind of digging through that for the past couple of weeks. And that is actually a question that's going to be on the proxy as well. The very first one has a requirement. So, in other words, a lot of these questions are requirement to be answered before you can even continue on or submit the proxy. So that's one avenue. And I forgot the first, what was the first portion you said?
Just about being, there's a whole list of rules
Yeah.
about being.
Yeah.
He was provided the entire statute.
And we went through them in detail because the other thing was, you know, right now on paper ballot, your ballot is separate from your proxy. Our statute is, if it's electronic, your ballot is your proxy. So they're all one uniform item via electronically. And if you don't fill it out and you don't answer the required fields, you have not opted in. As far as opting out, I suppose you could opt out by rejecting your ballot. You would have to come to the lake house and say, I'm so-and-so, I live here, and we could spoil the ballot. We could give you a paper.
I'm not saying if you already forgot about it, you can opt out doing electronic voting, you can't force them to do it.
The only way we would ever force them is by removing paper. So there's no real opt-out, but you just don't do it.
We're not removing the mail out.
So the point is, you'll still get it. You still get the email if you're on the email list for 12/4.
Right, but someone comes in and they vote on the electronic, and they fill out a paper ballot, or actually would audit that as well.
There is.
So if you don't, if the votes come back without a user on them, how are you gonna audit if you actually voted? So there's a bunch of questions.
Because I have an audit log of voter, time, date, IP. I know who voted where and on what device. I don't know what they voted.
But on secret ballot, you're not allowed to see the names.
No, I know they voted. I don't know what they voted.
Exactly, so what if they come in and do a paper ballot afterwards?
Come in and do a paper ballot.
Paper ballot.
Because we can cross-reference it.
Because
to
I can
the
cross-reference
address.
it as
We have an owner's
the
list.
address.
There's a
It's not just the
process
owner,
to
it's the
follow.
address. Has that address voted? If the address hasn't voted, here's your paper ballot. But actually, now that I'm thinking it through even a little bit further, let someone wanted to opt out, have a master resident list. This is where I'm getting this info from. I could just make a column that says opt out of electronic voting, and we just don't have done that. But they could potentially opt out. It would have to be ours. Or by default. Or just don't do it.
Well, I'm in favor of it.
There's a full audit log on it at the end of all these that give you, all the detail you need except for who voted for what.
If I could be kind of clear on this, this is one of the things where I would have liked to have had whether the committee was involved in the process before you go to a vote. Only because it's kind of, you're taking a lot of the things that we would be discussing out of the realm of our what we're doing at this point.
Okay, then why don't we do this? Okay, I can rescind that motion. I could change it to not say election runner, but I can say electronic voting, because I want electronic voting.
I don't disagree with that.
And I could sit with you if you have time this weekend. Problem is, we're kind of, I'm rushed for different reasons, but, if I could sit with you at some point this weekend, we can go over it.
Okay, that'd be great. We can do that.
Okay, so I'll rescind my previous motion. I'll make a new motion, say to allow electronic voting for our 2022 election.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think our last item of the evening is, I'm making a motion to allow the usage of electronic mailing for notifications.
Second it.
Beautiful. This is a simple one. I want to start using MailChimp to send stuff out. We have an email list. We have registered people for emails. I want to be able to send out election information. I want to be able to send out event information. Everyone will have their opt-out just as normal. I just see no reason why we're not doing this as of yet. I'm not talking spam mail. I'm talking a few emails a year that people could opt out of if they don't want.
Well, sounds good. I'm in favor.
All
Me
right,
too.
go ahead. Oh, me too. I'm sorry. Anyone want to speak to it?
I just have to make sure that you follow the fact that we have to have our written consent.
Yeah. Yes.
Send out an email for written consent, you have to send out written consent.
I hear you. All Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that's all we had for agenda items, folks. Resident input,
Richard, but the association needs to maintain the opting out list.
we could do that, simple.
Sorry to get
The association needs to maintain the opt-out listing.
yes, that's true.
Piece of cake, yes. Anybody else? Anyone? No one's still muted that wants to speak? Okay then, folks. Happy holidays, happy new year. We'll see you next month. Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.